Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. It's Business Connect, and my name is Roy. If you're watching me for the first time, and if you're my returning subscriber, thank you for coming on once again. So if you watched my previous video, I was doing that in a hotel, and it was a quarantine hotel, and I told you guys I was gonna do a video to tell you guys what happened. Why was I taken to a quarantine hotel? So today's video is exclusively about what happened, how and why was I taken to a quarantine hotel. So as you guys know, since after the lockdown in Shanghai, there have been mass testing. Normally as an individual, you have to take your test every 72 hours. If your test is showing more than 72 hours, you can't get into public places, you can't take the subway, you can't go to the mall, you can't enter some buildings and so on. So you have to keep checking your QR code to see that you remain at 72 hours. So I've always been doing my test every 72 hours, but this time it was mass testing. Everyone had to do this test. Now, you know, when they're doing mass testing, they test 5 people in one test tube, which means that the results will be 5 in groups of 5. So if one person is positive amongst that group, then they're going to come back and test every 5 of them. So now it was unfortunate for me, one person amongst our group happened to be positive according to them. So they had to take all 5 of us. So after the test, I waited for hours and I didn't see my results. And later in the evening, I received a call telling me that asking for my location, asking if I live in this building. I said, yeah. Then they were like, okay, your test, the test that you did this morning, one person, the test is not very clear, like the test result is not very clear. We have to do a test again for all of you, and you have to stay in a quarantine hotel for 3 days. I tried to argue with them that I could stay at home because I was alone. They're like, no, you cannot stay at home, we have to take you to a quarantine hotel. I tried, but there was no way. So that evening the doctors came home and they did a test again. While they did the test, as they left, the police and the health officials, they kept calling and calling and calling. So finally they had to come with a car and took me away. So 5 of us, we left for a hotel, and we had to stay in the hotel for 3 days. It has not been easy. It was not easy. So when we arrived at the hotel, they had to do the check-in process. They had to disinfect our luggages and did the sign-in process, and the health officials took us to our rooms. Yeah, so after disinfecting the luggages, the nurse had to show us to our rooms. They had to show everyone to their room. So yeah, this is my room. Well, I'm very satisfied with the room. Yeah, the environment was clean, the toilet was clean, the place was well set up. I had to change the sheets and set up the new sheets, since it was already about almost 11 p.m. at night. So I had to just prepare and went to bed and preparing for the next day. So the next day, breakfast was served. Now they had to send instruction in the group on how to pick up your breakfast. You have to wait, and if you hear no one is passing in the corridor, you have to open the door silently, pick up your food, and once you're going to the door, make sure your mask is on. So this is the food that they serve. I think bread, an egg, and pumpkin something, and the rice porridge, and a piece of cake. That is what they served for breakfast. It wasn't bad, since it's normally Chinese style breakfast. So I had my breakfast, and I had nothing to doing, so I just took my breakfast, and before I knew it, it was afternoon and lunch came. And I followed the same instruction, looked, no one was coming, picked up my lunch and had my lunch and continued with my daily activity. And in the evening, the same way, dinner came, and you follow the same instruction and pick your dinner. Now the next day we had to do a COVID test. So, but before that, I did my own personal test and it was negative. So I was saying, okay, now the doctors came for the COVID test. This test is one of the worst tests that I've ever had because they did the mouth swabbing and they did the nose swabbing. Oh my god, the nose swabbing is the worst. So painful. The thing went right into my head. Like it was so disgusting. So then it was afternoon now. I took my lunch, and following the same procedure, the lunch was rice, pudding, and a piece of cake, bread, and this was dinner. Dinner came the same way and with some Chinese traditional medicine beside it. So I followed the same procedure, and this is how I always picked up my food. And breakfast, lunch, dinner. The food was really okay throughout the stay. I had no problem with food. The breakfast was okay. The lunch was okay. The dinner was okay. So after that, we got information that our test results were okay, and now we had to leave the hotel. So luckily for us, all 5 of us were negative. So the car came and took all 5 of us. We had to wait, and they did the sign out procedure, and they also had to disinfect us, disinfect our luggages, and disinfect everything that we were carrying. We waited for the car, and once the car was there, we hopped in, and they took us back to our apartment. You can see they are disinfecting the things that we brought, the luggages. You see, people were carrying luggage like this because you don't know how long you were going to stay. They might tell you that we're going to be for 3 days, and before you know it, you're going to be there for a week or 2. That's how the lockdown started. They said it was going to be for 5 days, after 11 days, and before we know it, we stayed for more than almost 70 days. So when I was going there, I was just preparing my mind that, okay, God, I leave everything in your hands. So finally, I came back to my apartment, safe and so guys, thank you so much for watching the video up to now. I decided to share this video with you guys so that you guys can understand how serious the dynamic COVID policy in China is. This is what we go through on a daily basis. Even right now, not everyone is completely safe because the tests are going to continue like this until who knows when. So thank you so much for watching. If you're not yet my subscriber, please, I do a lot of interesting videos about life in China as a foreigner, study life in China, how to get scholarships in China, the life of an international student, business, and a lot of other stuff about foreigners in China. So if you don't want to miss amazing videos like this, don't leave the video without subscribing, like the video, and share it with someone. I'll see you in my next episode. Peace out and bye-bye.
I just got off the phone with the girl who loves you too. Said you're working on yourself, is she helping with that too? You gave her the time of day. You told her that you would stay. You made me feel the same way. What goes around comes around, that's what I always say.